Your BMW might have 300 horsepower sitting under that hood, and there's settings inside it right now, quietly deciding how much of that power you actually get to feel every time you put your foot down. Not a warning light, not a check engine code, just menu options and default behaviors that were configured around BMW's service strategy, emissions targets, and ownership convenience, not around squeezing every bit of performance out of the engine you paid for. I've spent years pulling these cars apart and pulling data off them, and the pattern is always the same. Owners assume that because their BMW isn't throwing a fault code, it's running exactly the way it should be. It isn't. Throttle response, shift behavior, and even how much power actually reaches the wheels are all shaped by settings most owners never touch or don't realize are still active from the last time they drove. Today, I'm walking you through 5 settings on your BMW that are working against the performance your engine is actually capable of delivering right now without a single warning telling you about it. I've fact-checked every claim in this video against actual BMW engineering documentation and independent shop data, not forum guesswork. So what you're getting is what's really happening under the hood, not just what makes a good headline. Setting 1. The speed limiter you forgot you set. Setting number 1 is one almost nobody thinks to check after they've forgotten about it, and it can silently cap your car's performance without a single dashboard warning telling you why. Most BMWs from the last 2 decades have an adjustable speed limiter, the LIM function, activated through the same stock your cruise control uses. Press it, dial in a speed, and the car simply won't accelerate past that number no matter how hard you press the pedal. It's genuinely useful for school zones, average speed camera stretches, or keeping a heavy right foot in check on unfamiliar roads. The problem is how easy it is to set once, forget about, and leave active for weeks. Unlike cruise control, which disengages the moment you brake, the limiter can stay armed in the background even when you're not actively using it, quietly capping your top and the next time you actually want it. This one trips up more owners than you'd expect, especially after a road trip through an unfamiliar area with aggressive speed enforcement. You set the limiter for peace of mind on unfamiliar roads, get home, and never think about it again. Until weeks later, you're merging onto a highway on-ramp, wondering why the car won't pull past a speed you know it's capable of clearing easily. It's a 2-second fix once you know where to look. Check the instrument cluster for a small LIM indicator before you start suspecting anything mechanical. It's genuinely one of the most overlooked reasons a BMW suddenly feels gutless for no obvious reason. Setting 2. Speed limit assistant quietly capping your set speed. Setting number 2 builds on that same blind spot, but it's a separate system entirely, and it's one most owners don't even know exists. Newer BMWs come with speed limit assistant, which uses the forward camera to read posted speed limit signs and can automatically adopt that limit as your cruise or driving assistant set speed. Set to automatic. The car will quietly lower your assisted driving speed every time it reads a new sign, without you touching a button. Most owners never realize this setting exists, let alone that it's set to automatic, until they're wondering why the car won't accelerate past a number they never intentionally chose. Neither this nor the LIM function is a flaw. Both are working exactly as designed. The issue is that both are easy to activate absent-mindedly and just as easy to forget about, and neither one throws a fault code or a clear warning when it's quietly limiting how your car performs. If you use adaptive cruise or driving assistance regularly, it's worth checking whether this is set to automatic or manual in your driver assistance settings. Automatic means the car is making the call on your behalf every time it spots a sign, whether you intended that or not. The two systems can even compound each other. A driver who set the LIM function on one trip and left speed limit assistant on automatic from the factory default can end up with 2 separate systems, both quietly capping the car's speed for entirely different reasons at entirely different times, with no obvious way to tell which one is actually responsible when the car won't accelerate the way you expect. Sorting out which system is active takes 30 seconds once you know both exist. The real problem is that most owners never learn there are 2 of them in the first place. Setting 3. The tire profile, throttling your grip. Setting number 3 lives inside a menu most owners set once at delivery and never touch again, and it directly affects how much of your engine's power actually makes it to the road. In iDrive's tire settings, BMW asks you to specify your tire size and whether you regularly drive above or below 100 miles an hour. That input isn't cosmetic. It changes the recommended tire pressure the system displays, and on models with active tire pressure monitoring, the baseline the car uses to judge whether your tires are properly inflated. Get that setting wrong, or leave it on a default that doesn't match your actual tires, and the recommended pressure the dash is telling you to maintain can be meaningfully off from what your tires actually need. This happens more often than you'd think after a tire replacement, when a shop swaps in a different size or speed rating and nobody updates the corresponding iDrive setting to match. Here's why that matters for performance specifically, not just tire wear. Underinflated tires increase rolling resistance, which is engine power spent just overcoming drag before a single bit of it reaches acceleration or cornering grip. They also change how quickly your tires reach their working temperature and how much sidewall flex you get under hard cornering, which affects how early your stability and traction control systems step in and quietly pull back engine torque to keep you planted. A car that's constantly triggering early traction intervention because of a pressure mismatch will feel like it's holding back power in situations where a properly set up car wouldn't intervene at all. The fix takes 2 minutes. Confirm your tire size and speed rating are set correctly in iDrive. Then check your actual pressures against the door jamb placard with a proper gauge rather than trusting the live dash reading, which fluctuates with tire temperature throughout a drive. If you want to check your car's stored tire and pressure baseline data directly rather than guessing what iDrive has on file, a Foxwell NT530 will pull that information in seconds. And if you want the complete breakdown of every setting BMW doesn't explain clearly at delivery, alongside the reset procedures I've covered on this channel, it's all laid out inside the complete BMW Longevity Bible. Link below. Setting 4. Software calibration. You're probably running outdated. Setting number 4 isn't something you toggle. It's a calibration state you're passively leaving outdated, and it may be one of the most overlooked performance items on this entire list. BMW periodically issues updates through its dealer diagnostic system, ISDA, that go well beyond fixing infotainment glitches. Some of these revise your DME and DDE's actual calibration, throttle response curves, ignition timing maps, boost control targets for turbocharged engines, and transmission shift logic, specifically to correct behavior BMW identified as underperforming after the car left the factory. A car built early in a model year can be running meaningfully different calibration logic than one built 18 months later, purely because BMW refined that logic in the meantime and issued it as a running update. The frustrating part is that unless you specifically request it, most shops, dealer or independent, won't proactively check whether your build software matches the latest calibration release. Your engine could be running older calibration that may not deliver the refinement BMW later engineered into the car for its entire ownership life, and nothing about how the car drives will obviously tell you that a fix exists, because a car running an older calibration doesn't feel broken. It just feels like itself. The fix is straightforward. At your next visit, specifically ask whether your DME and DDE software is current, and if it isn't, ask for it to be brought up to the latest calibration. It typically costs nothing extra at most independent shops, and unlike everything else on this list, it's the one item that requires zero ongoing effort from you afterward. You're simply making sure the performance corrections BMW already engineered for your exact engine actually make it onto your car. This one deserves emphasis because it's the setting owners are least likely to even think to ask about. Nobody expects their engine's calibration to be an open item years into ownership, so it never comes up in conversation. But manufacturers issue running production changes constantly, refining throttle and boost logic based on real-world data gathered after launch. If your BMW happened to be built early in a production run, there's a real chance BMW already quietly improved on your exact calibration for everyone built after you. And that improvement is sitting available, unapplied on your own car. Setting 5. The drive mode quietly deciding how much engine you get. Setting number 5 is the one almost every BMW owner has experienced without realizing what's actually happening. Your driving experience control switch, the one that toggles between ECO Pro, Comfort, and Sport, resets to a default mode nearly every single time you restart the engine. And that default is doing far more to your engine's behavior than most owners realize. Here's the mechanism. In comfort, the same amount of throttle travel produces a noticeably smaller torque request than it would in sport, and the transmission upshifts earlier to keep RPM low. Drop into ECO Pro, and that gets pushed further still. The ECU treats a given pedal input as an even smaller torque request. Shift points move earlier again. Climate control output is quietly reduced, and on models with a coasting or sailing function, the transmission can decouple the engine from the drivetrain entirely when you lift off the accelerator. BMW's own documentation on the mode confirms exactly this trade-off. Every one of those changes exists specifically to squeeze out efficiency at the cost of immediacy. Sport reverses all of it. Pedal input becomes linear and aggressive. Downshifts happen faster, and the gearbox holds gears longer under load. 3 settings, 3 genuinely different engines to drive, and BMW quietly puts you back at the soft end of that range every time you start the car. If you bought your BMW expecting the throttle response and shift character you felt on the test drive, and you're not manually reselecting sport every time you start the car, you're driving a softer version of the BMW you bought without knowing it. This isn't a flaw exactly. BMW defaults to Comfort or ECO Pro for fuel economy and emissions testing reasons, not because it's hiding your performance from you on purpose. But most owners never realize the mode they loved in the showroom isn't the mode they're actually driving in every day, because nothing on the dashboard flags that the car quietly reverted. And the performance cost is immediate. Merging onto a highway or accelerating away from a stop simply takes longer and needs more pedal travel to soften the mode. I see this constantly with owners who bought their BMW specifically for the driving experience, put real money into an M Sport package or dynamic handling package, and then spend 90% of their driving time in whatever mode the car defaulted back to that morning. They're paying for hardware calibrated around sport modes, throttle mapping, and shift logic, and driving around with Comfort or ECO Pro's softer response most of the time without ever realizing the disconnect. It's not a mechanical fault. It's just a setting nobody told them resets, quietly working against the exact reason they bought the car in the first place. The fix costs nothing. Reselect Sport every time you start the car, or on newer BMWs with iDrive. Check whether your individual profile settings let you lock in a preferred throttle map, so it doesn't reset at all. Save ECO Pro for the long highway stretches where you actually want it, not as your accidental daily default. There's also a compounding effect worth understanding on turbocharged engines specifically. ECO Pro's earlier upshift logic keeps your engine operating in a lower RPM band far more often than Comfort or Sport would, which can mean spending more time below the range where the turbo is actually building meaningful boost. Combine that with the softened throttle mapping, and what you get isn't just a slower pedal response. It's an engine frequently kept out of the RPM and load range where it makes its best power. For a genuine highway commute where efficiency is the goal, that's the mode doing exactly its job. The problem is only when the default becomes a habit, and the car feels flat every time real acceleration is actually needed. So that's 5 settings shaping how much of your BMW's real performance you're actually driving with right now. A speed limiter you likely forgot was still active. A speed limit assistant quietly capping your set speed in the background. A tire and pressure profile changing how much grip and power actually reaches the road. A software calibration that might already have sharper versions sitting unapplied. And a drive mode quietly resetting to its softest throttle map every time you start the car. None of these throw a warning light. That's exactly why they're worth checking. Nothing is forcing you to. Every setting and reset procedure I covered today, along with the full Vanos, Valvetronic, and transmission adaptation walkthroughs I've done on this channel, are laid out start to finish inside the complete BMW Longevity Bible. If you want a single reference that tells you exactly what your dashboard won't, it's linked in the description below. If this changed how you're going to drive your own BMW tomorrow, you know what to do. Subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.